Fantastic. Superb. Well, Darren, I was just going to do a little bit of housekeeping first of all. So after the Torquay games, any injuries, anything picked up that's going to cause you a problem for the weekend?
Yeah, we've had an awful COVID week. We've had a really bad week of that. I thought at one point maybe the game would be off. That's how bad it's been. But I'm not really sure how important or how applied the rules are now, because there seems to be no rules. There just seems to be no governance over COVID and stuff like that. So it's been a very, very strange week. It's been a week that we should have all really enjoyed, and a week that was, that we'd earned the right to enjoy, and it's been turbulent to say the least, but all fun and games in the world of football management.
Yeah, all things you have to do. So what are we talking about in terms of numbers? How many bodies have you got fit to choose from?
Well, the answer to that yesterday was 12. It's a day-to-day thing. The changing of the rules this week, or the changing of the government stance this week, has changed things in our favour, really, because obviously everything now is pretty much governed by lateral flow rather than PCRs. So it's a day-to-day thing. But like I said, the great thing around these games is normally the week building up to it. You have a really good preparation week. You're watching different teams. It's not often that we get to analyse Bournemouth. It's not often we get to prepare in a way in which, we're not watching, in all due respect, a Bromley, a Dover, a Boreham Wood that we've seen for the last 2.5 years. We've seen a team, and we're watching a team that we've not watched or worked on, or had to have the problems of working out how to play against them or get the best out of us against them. And they're really enjoyable moments for a manager. They're really enjoyable moments for the players, the coaching staff, because you're seeing something very different. And we've not really had that chance to enjoy that this week, and that's taken the edge off it, I must say. And the one thing that is absolutely definite in my world is the players earn the right to have that week where they could build up to playing against a really good side and having a really great day.
So have you had conversations with the FA about how many players you need, about the possibility of calling it off, those kind of things?
Yeah, pretty similar to what's been out there in the social media world. The way I see it, the competitions now, the leagues, it's get on with it, which is all right if you've got enough players. But you can imagine how many we've had doubts about if we've only had 12 to pick from yesterday. So it's been tough. But the hard line is get on with it.
Yeah.
Get on with it. I mean, last year we had a decision to make during this stage. I think it might have been maybe a couple of months earlier, 6 weeks earlier, but we had to withdraw from the FA Trophy last year. And that was pretty similar. Either play it or get out of the competition, that type of thing.
Is there any chance of getting a player or two back from those you're sort of either waiting for or hoping for good news?
Every day it does change. But like I said, when we're not playing, again, with all the respect in the world, we're not playing Yate tomorrow. We're Yate tomorrow because we're playing Bournemouth. So you do need a certain amount of time to prepare people to play against teams of the calibre of what we're playing. I mean, we're playing a team that's 4 points clear in the Championship. We're not playing bottom of the Championship. We're not playing top of League One. We were playing the best team outside the Premier League. So you do need some sort of preparation time to create a method and a strategy, and try and create a kind of a best case scenario process. And unfortunately, we've not had that luxury. But every day it changes. Every day someone else becomes available. Every day, there's a second negative lateral flow and stuff like that. It's a minefield though, and it has, for me and the players, it's taken the edge off what we've earned a really good week. We've earned the right to have a really good week, and has taken the edge off of that, definitely.
You mentioned the FA Trophy from last season. At any point was there a thought of, do we play this game?
Yeah, I thought at one stage that we may not get to play the game, just for sheer numbers. And, you know, I'm coming into I can only talk for myself when it comes to health and well-being, but I'm coming back to a place where COVID has been present, and I'm putting my family at risk every day. Because if I take my illness home to my 2 children and my wife, then I'm putting them at risk. But that doesn't seem to be top of anyone's agenda anymore, which, listen, I'm not moaning about. I'm not sulking about it. I'm not trying to be petulant about it. They're the facts. We're told to get on with it. I'm pretty honest and open when it comes to stuff like this. We're getting on with it, but yeah, there's no rules anymore. I've got to say, outside the Premier League, to me, there doesn't seem to be any process or legislation around these types of decisions. It's play the game or don't be in the competition.
So when kickoff arrives tomorrow evening, are you going to be able to, I guess, do you enjoy it on the sidelines anyway? If it's a normal match, are you sort of all caught up in it, or do you think you will be able to just enjoy it for what it is, which should be a special occasion?
I love the competition on the sideline, regardless. All of this, moaning and groaning will be a distant memory when we get onto the touchline, because there's very few things in management that you can enjoy, and definitely one of them is the competitive nature of the technical area, and how you see the game, and how every game's different, and how every moment is a new moment. And so I think, I'll definitely enjoy it tomorrow. Definitely.
And in terms of the testing, you mentioned it there, that they are the best of the non-Premier League teams, and that they've been playing some lovely football throughout this season.
They're a very, very good side. We've got some excellent players, both young and experienced. It's been again, going back to the week and the process in the week, it's been enjoyable watching them. I've enjoyed watching them, and you can. I always think there are teams that look coached, and there are teams that look uncoached. Or in the modern game, you'd say there are teams with a philosophy or a strategy, and teams that unfortunately still wing it a little bit. But Bournemouth are definitely a well-coached team that have also the individual capability of good performance and good players and potential in their players. Scott seems to have thrown some of the younger players in that have come through the football club, and they're definitely rewarding him with some excellent performances and some brilliant results. So they really a fantastic job for someone that went in at the time he did in pre-season. To have this level of play so quickly is, from one coach to another, you've got to tip your hat to him. And
despite all the sort of cards being stacked against you, whether it's COVID or the relative leagues and the amount of money that they can spend compared to you, come 5:30 on a Saturday afternoon, you just never know, do you?
Well, look, I mean, we have to take every minute. We have to play the game minute by minute. I mean, there's no point starting to get all romantic and, dreamy-eyed and all of that sort of mumbo jumbo. We've got to just play every minute of every game of this game. Every kick and every touch has got to be focused and concentrated, and we've just got to see where we are minute 1, minute 2, all the way through to 90 odd, whatever it takes. So I think when you play these games, and I've been very fortunate, this is not my first time playing a team from the Championship in round 3. I think when you play these games, you can get ahead of yourself, and you can definitely start thinking both positively and negatively about the potential outcomes of the game. And with that experience, it's I think you've just got to get to minute 1, then try and get to minute 2 and minute 3, and play every minute as it comes, and every touch and every tackle and every header. There has to be a focus and a concentration to it that is unparalleled with what we normally do, because we're playing such a really great side.
Very best luck tomorrow night, Darren.
Thanks, mate.
Morning, Darren. How you doing?
Hey, Aid, how are you?
Oh, fair to average, mate, at this time of the morning.
Very good.
I had to get that one in. Darren, you talked about your was COVID problems. Do we know whether Bournemouth have got any COVID problems?
No, I don't know. Obviously, their game Monday was cancelled, reportedly for those types of issues. But no. I've had so much on this week with us, Aid. Like I said, it's been something that's obviously you don't get the full concentrated effect of being able to prepare for a game when the issues we've had have been so prevalent and so strong. So
yeah,
I wouldn't know.
Obviously, this is our third FA Cup game. I think, is that right? Isn't it? Third. The crowd have been very, very important to you, especially against Weymouth, and we were at home, and you're home again now. Just how much of a asset is the crowd going to be for you on Saturday?
Yeah, I alluded to this heavily in my programme notes for tomorrow's game. They really are an extra player for us tomorrow. I mean, let's make no bones about it. The task in front of us is a tough one. It's a really exciting and enjoyable one to have, definitely. But the crowd is an extra player for us. And I think if you probably ask Scott in his most honest state, the only other thing he'd wanted, other than drawing you over in this round, would be to be playing it at their place at home. We fortunately have that advantage, and they have to be an extra player for us. And I think they also have to be understanding. And the great thing about the Oval fans is that they do know their football. It's a football area. And they need to know that what we look like against the other teams in our respective competition is going to look very different to how we have to look and how we have to behave and perform tomorrow. So there needs to be some empathy, and there needs to be some a lot of energy. They really need to get behind us and give us that energy. And like I said, they're going to have to be an extra player for us.
Hopefully you won't need them, but could go to penalties again. You quoted as saying that the last penalty shootout we had was one of the worst in history. Have you been practicing?
Well, we practiced before that game.
Yeah.
So when you break down a penalty, I know there's a lot that goes on about it, but it is a pass from 12 yards. That's the basis of it. So we have to be ready for that moment emotionally, because I think that's the biggest test at hand. I think also that technically then it's all about execution, but the pressure and the moment is the biggest test. And unfortunately, as many coaches before me have said, it's very hard to replicate. It's very hard to replicate that type of atmosphere, leading into games.
Well, you won't need him anyway, Darren. You'll go for easy. I tell you, don't worry about it. Injury-wise, I mean, apart from COVID, have you got any injuries, any major injuries that are out?
Well, obviously, we had to take Worthington off Sunday and Williams off Sunday for things that happened during the game, for impact during the game. So Williams will be touch and go. Worthington's probably stronger in terms of what he's been able to do this week. And then, without naming individual names, obviously those that have suffered with illness this week may have to take a different place depending on where they are in their stages of recovery with the illness. So it's it's not been a normal week. So I don't think tomorrow will look normal. I really don't. And there'll be I think there'll be some surprises in the lineup, and the surprises will only be because of the illness that's been in the camp this week.
Yeah. when you go through and you win, you get a fair or sizable prize money. You're going to be able to use that to buy some players?
I don't know. I'm not used last round, so I think I'm saving a decent budget up for January, surely. But no, all joking aside, that's nothing to do with me. I've been very much enjoying working with this group of players this year. It's been I don't know whether it's because I really enjoyed working with this group of players or how horrible last season was, but I've loved every minute of this season, win, lose or draw, because as we've spoken about previously, if this is going to be my my last season at Yeovil, then I'm definitely going to enjoy it. We're going to be positive, and we're going to be happy people, and we can enjoy our time that we have together. And what happens, but we've certainly worked very hard so far. These young players have grown enormously, and I've really enjoyed working with them.
I'm assuming that if Matt Worthington plays, he's going to be pretty psyched up, obviously being Bournemouth and his old club.
Well, Quigley's the same. I mean, there's been the usual banter around them having had time at Bournemouth and their careers and what it looks like to them, and everyone's different. These games can motivate players to a new level. They can scare players to a poorer state, but it's how everyone sees it. But yeah, Matthew and Joe have certainly received a bit of the the change room banter this week. Definitely. Nothing from me, of course. I've been quiet and shy and retiring.
As always. Well, look, best of luck, Darren. I got a funny feeling you're going to win this one. I don't know why. I just have. So let's hope we're right. So best of luck.
Thanks, mate.
How you doing, Darren? You okay?
Yeah, good. You?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Good. Just going back to the COVID situation, does it frustrate you then that you can see Arsenal and Liverpool get called off, but obviously you're getting told to get on with it?
It's mad. The whole thing's madness. I mean, I'm not saying what they're saying is wrong or right. I'm not saying that's not for me to comment on. But it's like the Wild West out there. It's there's no rules anymore. That's the best way I can say it. There's just no rules, and which has its benefits, but also has its, like I said, the preparation week. It's nothing to do with positive and negative tests. It's we have families. I come to work for my family. I don't go to work for Darren Sarll and his ego or for lots of money. I come to work because my family relies upon my employment to support them. But I'm also coming to work to potentially endanger them. And that's the only thing. That's the kind of the moral high ground I have is people can throw whatever they like at me. But my duty as a father is to keep my children safe and to make sure I give them the best possible chance in whatever they do. And it just seems to me at the minute that all of those elements are not at the forefront of everyone's mind. It's let's get on with it, which normally in any other state is my attitude anyway. But when it comes to your children and your family, it obviously provokes different thoughts and feelings. But look, we're here. It's not the worst thing I've had to deal with at Yeovil, so that's a good thing. And we're trying to be as ready and as prepared for tomorrow as possible.
Obviously, it's already looking like a difficult week with the FA Cup game, then Tuesday's game. Were you having to prioritise at all, or is it just another 2-game week fit for you?
Yeah, we can't prioritise. I mean, if you're alluding to the fact that do we play certain players Saturday and Tuesday, we haven't got that benefit anyway. We've never had that benefit. So now that we've seemed to have got most of the players out of the treatment room, we've now got illness. So we've never had that benefit. So like I said, when you play these games, you have to play it 1 minute at a time, and it's going to be a struggle and and definitely a battle. That's for sure. And we're going to have to be focused and concentrated in every minute. So what happens prior to the Southend game is absolutely inconceivably unimportant right now, because we've got a huge test tomorrow, a massive test, and we need to try and just prepare ourselves as best we can. And
is there any thoughts of getting any extra players on loan to help at all?
No, because we're running out of loans. You know, when our squad, I would say a third of our squad is all season has been made up of loans. You know, and when it's heavily added to in that way, using loans, those loans run out very quickly. You know, we lost out on a player last January from a Premier League club because we'd used up that type of loan and we couldn't bring him in. So, but like I said, I'm not moaning. I'm not, criticising anyone or giving anyone any sort of hidden messages about how unlucky we are or anything like that. There's nothing to do like that. It's just the way our squad has had to be built, and we will run out of loans. So, and if you want loans that are going to make a real impact, I mean, probably the best couple of loans we've had here is Romeo Hutton, who was completely 100% supported by Birmingham, and Jimmy Smith. But we paid our way for Jimmy Smith because he was that good a player for us. So if you want as good a loan as the ones that can make an immediate impact, like Jimmy did, Romeo was a little bit of a slow burner, really. Then you've got to have the resources to be able to do it. And at the moment, I don't think they're available. So.
Obviously, last week you said if you could keep 2 of the 3 loans that you've currently got, is there any update on those 3 at all? Yeah,
if we can keep 2 of them, I'll be really happy. That's the update. No, it's the same. It's the same thing until all 2 of the 3 or 3 of the 3 agreements are agreed. We'll keep it as, if I can keep 2 out of 3, I'll be delighted. And it's the same thought now. And I must say, I think Jaheim Headley from Huddersfield has been brilliant since he's been here. He was very unfortunate last week to miss out on the squad, and that was only because of Wilkinson's situation before the game. That was the only reason why he missed out. But his attitude has been fabulous, absolutely fabulous, and real credit to Huddersfield. And actually, it's credit to the way Huddersfield must work there, because I don't see too many young men behaving in the way he has this week. So, he's been excellent as well. So that's how much of an impact he's had on me this week. I'd throw Jaheim into the mix of those loans as well.
Well, best of luck for tomorrow, Darren. All
Thanks,
right.
Oh, is that me?
Yeah, sorry, Hackman.
Oh, yeah. Good morning. Thanks very much for your time.
No problem. How are you?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Look, just a couple, because I think the guys have covered most of it, and I don't want to. Two very quick. Just coming back on what you were saying, on a sort of personal note, it's just having to deal with all this stuff. It's not quite what management had on the tin, is it? It must be a bit of a strain.
Yeah, unfortunately, Hector, at this football club, this is probably one of the minor things that I've had to deal with in my 2.5 years. Which when you have to deal with some of the things we've dealt with at Yeovil, it does put everything into perspective a lot of the time. So, which is why I'm quite laid back about it now. Take me back 18 months ago, and I might be using different types of adjectives and descriptive words to describe this week. But it is what it is. It is the world. It is what we have to. I am a believer that we have to move through these times. I've said that repeatedly. However, like in any walk of life, any job, anything you do, you want direction and purpose. And I think Nelly, leaves a lot to the imagination when we talk about direction and purpose in a COVID state. And we've certainly not had that this week, and that's been disappointing. And the messages that are coming out are disappointing as well. Again, from a father and a husband point of view, but it's okay. Like I said, it's been really enjoyable watching a different team. It's been really enjoyable watching, I was very fortunate in my career that I could, at one stage I could watch Premier League football every week live as part of my job. But, so it's been enjoyable watching that standard of football again. And they are a Premier League standard football team, because, any team that goes into who leads their division has to play at the level of the one above in order to lead that division. I think that's pretty common sense. And it's been enjoyable watching them. And again, Scott and Matt have been fantastic in the way they direct their football team and the way they want it to play. It's very, very nice to watch. And I've very much enjoyed analysing and observing it from a coaching perspective, a technical perspective, but also as a football fan.
And just finally, I'm very mindful. I think sort of before you were born, and even before I was born, sort of Yeovil have a pedigree, don't they, in the FA Cup? We've got some great results. You've probably got pictures of it around the place. Some of the, it goes back a long time. I believe I'm right in saying if you were to win tomorrow, it'd be like a record for a non-league team beating a league team for any club. I think it'd be like the 22nd time Yeovil had done that. So it's a real Yeovil tradition. And are you aware of that? Are you in the players? Would you sort of just?
I'm certainly aware of it. My assistant is, he's a legend at this football club, and that word obviously gets bandied around aimlessly at times. But Terry Skiverton is like a walking statue at Yeovil. He's got enough 30-foot pitches around the place to have a statue, so we might as well put one in there. But he. He was a player here during the Liverpool games. He was a coach here during the Man United games, and obviously played in a time at the football club where it was, on an ascent into the better levels of English football, or the high levels of English football, shall I say? So I'm fully aware of that. I mean, Terry, I think I'm on the 14th time of every story that he's told me coming round again. So he tells me about all those games. And it is a part of our makeup. I hope that, this journey, even to this point, even to today, that we can write our own chapter in the tradition of the FA Cup at Yeovil whilst I'm in charge of the football team. And, I hope we can have a great day tomorrow. But this isn't my first puppet show. I know there's a hand underneath the sock. I've been on this ride a few times, and I think to think that far ahead would be very naive of me, very inexperienced of me. And we have to just get to minute 1, then minute 2, minute 3, minute 4, and see if we can leave dents along the way. So it's a good game for us, and like you said, it does follow a pattern of the club's history and tradition.